Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so happy you have joined us today. Before we begin our story, if you enjoy our content and would like to support the English Story Nook, you can now buy us a coffee on Ko-fi. You will find the link in the description box below. Every contribution, big or small, helps us create more wonderful stories for all you amazing English learners out there. We truly appreciate your support. Today, we are diving into a story about a city where words are strictly controlled and how the discovery of a lost art form sparks a journey of courage and change. Get ready to discover the power that hidden words and secret messages can hold. The Ink Rebellion. In the city of Viridia, the Ministry of Approved Expression controlled every word. Digital screens displayed an endless stream of sanctioned text, bland, functional, and utterly devoid of personality. The ubiquitous gray uniforms of the word weavers, the ministry's enforcers, were a constant reminder of this control. They ensured that no unapproved thought, no subversive idea, ever found its way into the public consciousness through writing. People had learned to keep a low profile, their own thoughts carefully guarded. For generations, this had been the norm, and many had begun to take for granted the absence of true expression, while others simply turned a blind eye to the creeping silence. Satoshi worked as a data filer, his days spent categorizing the ministry's sterile pronouncements. He felt a persistent emptiness, a sense that something vital was missing. One stormy evening, while clearing out his late grandfather's attic, a loose floorboard caught his attention. Beneath it, wrapped in oilcloth, lay a collection of ancient calligraphy scrolls. The characters were unlike anything he had ever seen, fluid, passionate, and breathtakingly eloquent. They seemed to dance on the aged paper, each stroke imbued with a profound meaning that the ministry's texts could never convey. He felt an immediate, inexplicable connection to them, a feeling that began to resonate deep within his soul. The scrolls became Satoshi's secret obsession. He knew possessing them was dangerous. Whispers circulated about dissident elements in the city, individuals who remembered or sought a different way, but they were spoken of with fear. One name, Layla, was mentioned more often than others, sometimes with reverence, sometimes with an ominous tone. Driven by a newfound courage he didn't know he possessed, Satoshi decided he had to find her. If anyone could understand the scrolls, or the feelings they stirred in him, it might be this mysterious Layla. He knew that seeking out a known dissident was a risk that could unravel his entire life. Finding Layla was not easy. She lived in the forgotten underlayers of Viridia, a labyrinth of old tunnels and abandoned workshops. When Satoshi finally met her, he found a woman whose eyes held the wisdom of ages. She was venerable, her presence commanding a quiet respect. He showed her the scrolls, his hands trembling. Layla's expression, usually inscrutable to outsiders, softened as she examined the calligraphy. "These are echoes of a forgotten tongue," she explained, her voice a low murmur. A time when words could empower individuals, not control them. The ministry fears this power, the power of truly eloquent expression. Under Layla's guidance, Satoshi began to learn the ancient art. He practiced meticulously, his initial clumsy attempts gradually giving way to more confident strokes. Layla taught him that calligraphy was more than just writing. It was a meditation, a way to channel emotion and intent. "Every character you write can be a small act of defiance," she told him, a subversive whisper against the silence. Satoshi realized the profound responsibility that came with this knowledge. He was learning not just an art form, but a weapon. Their lessons were always clandestine, held in the dead of night, far from the ministry's prying eyes. Satoshi learned how the subtle curve of a line or the bold flick of a brush could convey defiance, hope, or sorrow. He started to understand how the ministry had systematically erased this depth from language, leaving only a functional shell. The task of reintroducing such potent forms of communication felt almost insurmountable at times, yet Layla's unwavering belief gave him strength. Soon they began their quiet rebellion. Small pieces of calligraphy, bearing messages of hope and questioning, started appearing in unexpected places. A character for freedom on a park bench, a phrase about truth tucked into a library datapad slot. These were nascent acts, small sparks in the oppressive darkness, but they did not go unnoticed. People would pause, their expressions momentarily shifting from resignation to curiosity. The messages began to resonate, stirring something long dormant in the city's heart. They had to be careful not to make their messages too conspicuous, lest they attract immediate attention from the word weavers. The ministry, with its ubiquitous surveillance, eventually detected these anomalies. The atmosphere in Viridia grew tense, more ominous than before. Word weavers patrolled with increased vigilance. Yet, for Satoshi and Layla, there was a glimmer of hope. They had sown the seeds of change, and they knew that ideas, once planted, were difficult to eradicate. The challenge ahead was immense, perhaps even insurmountable in the long run. But they were determined. They could no longer keep a low profile. The time for quiet observation was over. They understood that freedom of expression was a right that should never be taken for granted, and that society had turned a blind eye to its suppression for far too long. This nascent rebellion, though small, was a testament to the enduring power of the written word to empower those who dared to wield it. Their clandestine meetings continued, their resolve hardened by the conspicuous increase in patrols. That's the end of our story for today. We hope the Ink Rebellion gave you a lot to think about. What do you think is the most powerful way to express yourself, even when it is difficult? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please give us a like, and remember to check the description box for helpful resources to continue your practice. And that is all for today from the English Story Nook. We hope you enjoyed the story and picked up some new English words and phrases. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Goodbye for now.